Live at Onigashima! I'm Jimmy.
And I'm Anthony, and today we got some crazy stuff. Chapter 1111, the Sun's Shield. It's a lot of ones, but we got the resolution between Zoro and Lucci. Finally, we got the Gorosei members, the other ones that didn't do anything last chapter, actually doing some stuff. My favorite Gear 5 moment. Let's get into it.
Yeah, so great chapter. We pick up right where we left off. The stupid bird running straight into the lavosphere, but
we were like,
didn't
oh,
kill
is he
himself. He didn't kill him. He was smarter than that. You gotta give him a little bit of credit.
Yeah, Mars. And you know what I didn't really realize last time that I realized this time about his like mane is that it looks like Mars's hair, which is kind of weird to me, but I can't wait
I didn't see that in the last angle.
I can't wait.
I want to see how the anime does this, honestly.
Yeah, I want to see how they look in their hybrid forms, because I've been seeing that stupid image of like the worm guy with like, it's just like Jupiter, but like it's like his no, it's like his belly button has like the worm coming out.
Oh god.
But yeah, so we get back into that's what we start with, and immediately he's looming over Jimbe, right? And Jimbe's like, holy shit, we have to go.
I feel like that was a big part of this chapter, is people reacting and be like, damn, these guys' hockey is crazy.
Yeah. And for Jimbe to be saying that, like, you know,
like, he's seen some of the strongest. He saw Big Mom, he saw Kaido.
Dude, he looked Big Mom in the face and he was fine. So like, for Jimbe to be like, okay, we gotta go, like me and Zoro together have to run away from this motherfucker.
And you can tell he wasn't fucking around, because even though Lucci's standing and Zoro's like, let me swing at him, Jimbe's there just like, nah, I'm holding him back.
I know. And
then one shots Lucci. Well, not one shot, because, you know, he was basically on the brink of death anyways, but
that was kind of dirty of Jimbe to do, honestly. That was like, Jimbe was like, sorry guys,
he's not playing around, he doesn't have time for games anymore.
He's like, listen, like, I know you guys are having your little back and forth. I'm gonna show you why I'm the number 3 on the crew. Goodbye. Bam. 5,000 breakfast. So,
but
Lucci,
honestly, like, I just gotta say, like, as a Zoro stan, it hurts a little that he didn't take out Lucci, but I think this more is a testament to how strong Lucci actually is. Like, I think a lot of people, including myself, underestimated him at the beginning of this because of how he did against Gear 5. But he's able to hold his own against a Gear 5. I mean, a little bit. And then now you can see he's pretty on par with Zoro. I mean, granted, I still think it's a weakened Zoro, but
this is kind of what we've seen from like, and come to expect of zones too, though, is that like they have the durability to like be getting back up and doing stuff, and you know, awakened zones, especially like with the impel down guards all the way up until Kaido, like would not go
just
down.
Hard to take out.
So I think Lucci, we can pretty definitively after this fight like rank him in the tier list.
He's probably around first commander level, I would say now.
Probably around
I could potentially see him going against King and Cat. But another cool thing that he does here that I think he kind of stabs himself in the back here is when Mars is talking to him, he's like, hey, where's all this? Give me the deets, give me the rundown. And Lucci's like, I got you, bro. And he's like, please though, one thing, save my buddy. And the guy's like,
no.
Nah,
he said, no, bro. He was like,
he said,
no.
It's hard to single out a lone insect when you're exterminating a hive. One thing about these Gorosei, by the way, they have such cold lines, and I love it.
They do, yeah.
You can feel their like
to the bone
presence because of how they like speak. It's crazy.
No, it is, yeah, because like Lucci, we get to see finally, and I do like this from Lucci. I think this was actually a good Lucci showing chapter, because we get to see him actually like give a shit about Kaku, right? He's not just the soulless, mindless, you know, government dog. And
kind of is still, but
he is.
He has a little bit of heart.
But I feel like, you know, this is a moment where I could see that later on Lucci, I don't think he's gonna flip, but I feel like this is a point where Lucci can start to have some character development, because at this point he's been fucked over so many times by the government. Like,
yeah, like he's literally gonna get left on this island to die to another Buster call.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he was left the first time, and then after that, after they like failed, quote unquote, they were chased down in the cover stories, and then finally, you know, he gets back on, and then this shit happens, right? So we'll see what happens.
You can do better than the government.
Yeah, well, I think so. We'll see. You know, he did. He is kind of a bitch, though. I'm not like the biggest Lucci fan, but so what happened with Mars going in there? It's what we said last time, where he is going for York. We don't know where Kaku is, but he does find York in there, and York freaks the fuck out.
It was an interesting strategy. I didn't think of it. He went to York to ask York, like, hey, where is the kill switch for this whole thing? Like, how can we turn this broadcast off? And it makes sense because he can save York, and York is going to willingly give that information if she's saved.
Right.
So.
Right. And I feel like that will be the case. That I think personally now, after seeing that, I don't think that they're going to be able to stop the transmission, but I think that York might go back with the Gorosei if they're all not destroyed by the Lucia bomb. Maybe York does die here, but there's a world in which the the Mother Flame still exists, and this is like still like a threat,
Yeah, and if the government still has that kind of brain power on their side, that's pretty bad for us.
Yeah, exactly.
But just skipping back a little bit, it was really cool to see just where everyone was. I like getting these every once in a while in the chapters, just like a little recap. It's like, hey, these people are here. This is what we gotta do. Here's the game plan. And one thing that I like from this is, even in their reunion with Luffy, Dory, and Broggy, Luffy's still like, hey, nice to see you, but we kind of gotta go. Like, we can't fuck around.
He's like,
here.
hey man, these guys are immortal. Like, you ever heard of that? So
Luffy can't even figure out a way to damage them. He was saying, which is kind of crazy.
It is, yeah, but it does, a testament to Luffy's battle smarts. Like he's trying. Like we can tell that this isn't. Luffy has beaten the allegations of just being like a silly, crazy character, because like you can tell with this right here that he is actively trying to like beat them. He's just like a silly guy,
Yeah.
So
it's just how the fruit works. Like he's always gonna be silly, but that doesn't mean he's not really taking it seriously.
Right,
you can do both at the same time.
Yeah, and we see that. So it's kind of like a 3v3, I guess, because we have Jupiter, Saturn, and Mercury, right, against Dory, Broggy, and Luffy. And this is also, I just want to point out, like, I'm so proud of Dory and Broggy for showing us how strong early character One Piece characters can be, you know what I mean? Like early release, I guess.
Yeah, we didn't get to see all of their full powers back when they were in Little Garden, because they were only really fighting
it's fun
each other,
to see them be actually strong, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and they had a good showing here. They were knocking out these Gorosei. Granted, it took two of them to like hold back one, but that's still pretty powerful.
I
and
think
it shows just how powerful the giant race are, which I feel like we kind of needed a reminder of.
for sure.
Because I don't know about you, but personally, I was like, they're giants, they're strong, but I feel like
because we're
our
all
characters
like
have kind of eclipsed them at this point.
Yeah, because our references like Hadruden and like Saul, like they were alright, I guess. And like all the Vice Admiral giants at Marineford, I guess, who did, whatever.
Yeah, none of them were like that great.
But this
so I
one,
think
like
we needed this
roar from Mercury, people are saying that it's like, one of the craziest hockey feats ever, because it kind of like contests with the things, well, for Luffy to be like screaming like that and the giants to be like, holy shit.
For Luffy's body to come apart, literally.
Dude, that's so funny. I love that moment. I love Gear 5 so much, bro.
But I thought it was this reminded me of like the Shanks' Wi-Fi hockey type of thing.
Yeah,
how
I feel like it was
powerful
close to
except
that.
this seemed more aggressive and not as like targeted
it's
as Shanks was.
Too. So like you can expect it to be a little stronger, I guess, but it seems like Mercury's being implied to be one of the stronger ones, if not the strongest one, because it's like, the order from the sun, Mercury would come first or whatever.
Yeah,
he's always shown in
the
the
first
middle.
one. So Saturn's the weakest.
Yeah, I would imagine Saturn's the weakest because he was the first one that was shown to us, and he's the spider, and like he looks the smallest and everything.
Yeah. Speaking of Saturn, though, shooting the poison bullet seed at Luffy and them, and then Luffy, this is one of my favorite things. I was not expecting Luffy when he grabbed this tree to do this and hockey up his paintball bat, or not paintball bat, baseball bat with paint.
Yeah, no, literally isn't that like a Tom and Jerry or like Bugs Bunny thing? He just gnaws on the fucking branch, puts on the hat, dude, pulls it out of thin air, pulls it out of thin air, paints his thing. He made a black blade before Zoro did. Figured it out, bro.
He figured out the secret. It's not actually armament hockey, it's just paint.
Yeah.
But I will say this moment, like we were saying earlier, I think does show like Luffy's battle smarts, because he recognized like, hey, watch out guys, these are poison, let's not touch them. And even though his assessment of them was wrong because they exploded, it shows that he's actually thinking about like the other people's attacks and what they've already done. He's not just mindless.
Yeah, true. He also did this fast as fuck, because it's like, in what world would you have time to do all that shit and then like bat away the attack? It's like definitely,
he had time to even make a hat for himself.
It's definitely Toon Force, right? Like any deniers that this wasn't Toon Force before, like come on. But they survive it. Like they're totally fine even with their own attacks, and so they're just trying to get out of there. Like I think more than ever now, this is like an escape mission, right? So at the end, we see the vice admirals blocking their way. Sanji's still carrying the dead Vegapunk and that, and they're like, "There's Jory Bonnie, you're not going anywhere." I think this is fine for the remaining Straw Hats. Like, you know, they can.
I don't think
take
there's
out
really that
the
many
admirals.
big players they have to go through. These vice admirals do not scare me in the slightest.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of admirals, I wanna talk about Kizaru, right? So some people are like, he's down and out, but for me, what this seems like is still that he's holding back, and the reason for that being like the character development he's going through. He just had to kill Vegapunk, right? One of his friends, and I think he's using this like, oh, I just fought a Yonko as an excuse to be like, oh, I can stay down now and just like.
I mean, it kind of makes sense
anymore.
with his dialogue where he's like, my wounds run deep. Maybe he's not like talking about like physical wounds, but more like the internal ones.
Right.
He's like, he's basically begging. He's like, just let me rest, please.
Yeah,
like, come on.
Like, don't make
like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Like,
I've
he
done
wants
what
to
I
be
was supposed
like
to
he's
do.
a cog, and he like will be a cog, but if he's, you know, he's like, please, man, like I'm just a 9-to-5 worker. Like I thought I could clock out already.
Yeah, it's 6 o'clock. I'm going home.
Like, come on. So we'll see what happens with Kizaru. Maybe he's like a last minute, like he comes back in and helps the Straw Hats somehow, or like I don't know
if
what
they'll
would
help
happen.
this arc. Maybe in the future. We'll have to see about
Yeah,
that.
it could be a long running thing.
Craziest way to end this chapter is the Iron Giant is finally on the move.
Yes. No. Yeah. We've been
What
waiting.
was crazy to me is that they mentioned that it's bigger than the Giant. So this thing is massive.
He's huge.
Like this
yeah.
to me is like Zunisha level massive, but maybe like a little bit smaller.
It said way bigger than the Giant too. So he's
yeah.
like, and okay, so we have to kind of address the similarities to Zunisha. Like the eyes are the same. The Giants.
The contract with Joy Boy, whatever that was,
Yeah,
where he's
yeah.
going, forgive me, Joy Boy.
Forgive
it's the
me,
same
Joy Boy.
thing
Same
Zunisha
thing.
said.
Same thing, exactly. So apology for what is how the.
So we gotta think about what are the
chapter.
connections between this Iron Giant and Zunisha, and how were they connected to Joy Boy? Were they his allies in the past? Like were these his companions that he gave them a task?
Where
and they
my
eventually
mind
failed?
went first was like it was a curse. Like I think
That's
that,
what I was gonna say next. Is he cursed like Zunisha is?
Right, yeah. So like maybe I don't know what Joy Boy did in the past. Like I'm still of, and I don't know if I ever talked about this on the channel with you or whatever, but like in my mind, Odin found whatever out at Laugh Tale that he needed to open up Wano for. Like he was very, very much more adamant to open up Wano for Joy Boy coming in to save Wano. Joy Boy ended up being Luffy. So like if Luffy is Joy Boy, and that's like kind of confirmed at this point, right? Because Zunisha said so, whatever. Like he's here awakening the Giant. I don't know that Luffy. I like. There's a weird world to me where like Joy Boy did not exist in the past, and Luffy is Joy Boy, and this was all prophecy. And like maybe I don't know what kind of time hopping weird shit is gonna happen. If like Luffy's gonna end up like this, like what if this Luffy like is able to travel to the past, or somebody's able to travel to the past to tell the story of what Luffy will have done with Toki's fruit or something like that, you know what I mean? Like
the only reason I'm not so sure about that is I feel like once you start introducing like time travel, especially backwards time travel,
but it's already in the story.
It creates a lot but it's only forward at this point, and it doesn't create like a lot of plot holes because of it. But once you create backwards time travel, it's like, well, why did this happen in the first place? Like we know that Odin
would do it, it'd be this arc, this sciencey arc.
You think? I don't know.
I'm just saying, it's a theory.
I'm a little skeptical.
It's a theory. It's a theory. But I just want to know like how all of this Joy Boy stuff connects. Like, is this the reincarnation of Joy Boy? Maybe. Like,
you think we get that in what Vegapunk says here when he announces it all?
Maybe. Yeah. That could be. I think that could be like a really cool way to tie all this in together. Is if Vegapunk kind of like gives us some more hints, because eventually this is all going to be revealed some way or another. But Vegapunk was stated by Oda to like know about the devil fruit origins and know a lot about like the history, and unfortunately we're gonna have to wait a little bit until we hear the answer for that.
Yeah, sadly, what's worse than usual, it's a 3-week break. Granted, it's Oda taking a break for himself, so I have to respect that. And I'm glad it's not like for a sickness, like he said. But he's apparently figuring out what the One Piece is, so that's an interesting one that I was expecting.
He's like, oh, I gotta figure it out, dude. Bro forgot. Like,
Dude's been extending his series this entire time because he forgot what it was. He's like, ah, crap, I gotta keep writing more chapters.
He's
so
just
I
gotta
remember.
go until he like figures out like, oh, this will work, and it's gonna be the friends we made along the way.
Oh no, everyone's worst nightmare.
All right, yo. Well, like, comment, subscribe, and as always, fight us in the comments.
You guys have been doing good on that again.
Oh my god, yeah, we got our most liked video, our most viewed video. It was our last video, so keep it up. Like, I love hearing it in the comments. We always go through. We always look at everything. So thank you guys.
Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate it. And we'll be putting more videos out in the meantime. Like this 3-week break for Oda.
Maybe another versus battle in the break.
It ain't gonna be
see.
a 3-week break for us. I'll tell you that. So until next time, peace out.
Peace.